The Trojan War, one of the most timeless and compelling tales of the ancient world, captures a story that resonates beyond its mythological origins. It's a saga of gods and men, heroes and villains, love and betrayal, set against the backdrop of an epic conflict that would shape the ancient world's understanding of honor, destiny, and tragedy. But was this war a real historical event or simply a product of imagination? Join us as we embark on a journey to uncover every layer of this legendary war. The origins of the Trojan War can be traced back to a moment of divine rivalry. During the wedding feast of Peleus, a Greek hero, and Thetis, a sea nymph, the goddess of discord, Eris, threw a golden apple into the celebration. The apple bore an inscription that read, "For the fairest," sparking a competition among three of the most powerful goddesses, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. Zeus, the king of the gods, reluctant to choose, assigned the task of judging to Paris, a young prince of Troy known for his sense of fairness. Each goddess offered Paris a bribe to secure his favor. Hera promised him vast power and dominion, Athena offered wisdom and skill in battle, while Aphrodite promised him the love of the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen of Sparta. Paris chose Aphrodite, setting into motion a chain of events that would lead to one of the most famous conflicts in mythology. When news reached Menelaus that his wife had left with Paris, he was determined to seek revenge and reclaim his honor. He called upon his brother Agamemnon, a powerful and ambitious ruler who saw in this conflict an opportunity to expand his influence and assert dominance over Troy. Agamemnon's call to arms was answered by Greece's mightiest heroes: Achilles, the fierce and nearly invulnerable warrior; Odysseus, renowned for his cunning and intelligence; Ajax, known for his towering strength; and Nestor, the wise elder whose counsel would prove invaluable. United by oaths, they formed a coalition of warriors and prepared to embark on a journey that would change the course of history. The journey to Troy, however, was fraught with challenges. As the Greek fleet prepared to set sail, the winds failed, grounding them at Aulis. The seer Calchas revealed that the goddess Artemis was withholding the winds as punishment, and only the sacrifice of Agamemnon's daughter, Iphigenia, would appease her. Agamemnon's decision to sacrifice Iphigenia would cast a dark shadow over the campaign and sow seeds of discord that would haunt the Greek leaders throughout the war. When the Greek forces finally landed on the shores of Troy, they anticipated a swift victory. However, the city, fortified by high walls and known for its resilient defenders, proved an indomitable challenge. The Greeks settled in for what would become a 10-year siege. Battles were fought, heroes fell, and legends were born as each side sought to outlast the other. The Greeks launched relentless assaults on the city, but the Trojans, led by their valiant Prince Hector, stood their ground. The Trojan War was not only a clash of armies, but a battleground of ideologies, with each side fighting for honor, family, and survival. The Greeks, driven by a mix of personal and collective motivations, were determined to reclaim Helen and prove their dominance. The Trojans, meanwhile, defended their city with courage and loyalty, fighting not for conquest, but for the preservation of their way of life. At the heart of the conflict were two heroes: Achilles, the greatest of the Greeks, and Hector, Troy's noble defender. Achilles and Hector were not only heroes of their respective armies, but symbols of the ideals for which each side fought. Achilles, the son of the sea nymph Thetis and the mortal Peleus, was a near-invincible warrior destined for greatness. Driven by a desire for eternal glory, Achilles fought with an intensity and rage that struck fear into his enemies. Yet his pride and sense of honor often led him into conflict with his own allies, particularly Agamemnon, whose authority he challenged. Hector, by contrast, was a model of loyalty and selflessness, fighting not for personal glory, but to protect his family and his city. The duel between Achilles and Hector would become one of the defining moments of the war, a clash of ideals as much as a battle of skill. Their confrontation was not just a duel, but a moment that would resonate through the ages. As they clashed outside the gates of Troy, Achilles' fury was unrestrained, and Hector fought with the weight of his city's fate on his shoulders. Hector's death at the hands of Achilles marked a turning point, symbolizing the tragic cost of war. Even in victory, Achilles was haunted by the loss of his friend Patroclus, whom Hector had slain. This act of vengeance underscored the theme of human suffering that permeates the story of the Trojan War. The Trojan War was unique not only for its scale and impact, but also for the divine involvement that influenced its outcome. The gods of Olympus were deeply invested in the conflict, with Athena, Hera and Poseidon siding with the Greeks, while Apollo, Artemis and Aphrodite favoured the Trojans. Each deity's involvement mirrored the complex relationships and rivalries among the gods themselves. Zeus, the king of the gods, often sought to maintain a balance, allowing the war to unfold according to fate, while intervening at crucial moments to prevent either side from gaining complete dominance. The gods' influence on the war emphasized the ancient Greek belief in the power of fate and the limitations of human free will. The heroes of Troy and Greece were not just warriors but instruments of the gods, their destinies entwined with divine whims. Achilles, who was prophesied to die young if he sought glory, chose his path with the knowledge of his own mortality. Hector, though aware of the danger he faced, fought on, bound by duty to his family and city. The gods' interference served to highlight the tragic inevitability of their fates, showing that even the mightiest heroes were subject to forces beyond their control. After years of unrelenting conflict, the Greeks realized that sheer strength alone would not bring down Troy. The cunning Odysseus devised a bold plan to end the war, the construction of a massive wooden horse hollowed out to conceal Greek soldiers. Pretending to abandon the siege, the Greeks left the horse as a supposed offering to the gods. Believing they had won, the Trojans brought the horse within their walls, unwittingly setting the stage for their own defeat. That night, Greek soldiers hidden inside the wooden horse emerged, opening the gates of Troy to the returning Greek army. Chaos erupted as the city fell under assault, marking the end of the long and brutal war. Yet, in the days following the Greeks' victory, another tragedy would unfold on the battlefield. Achilles, the greatest of the Greek warriors, had become a near mythical figure for his strength and skill. But as he pursued revenge for the death of his friend Patroclus, Achilles continued to press his luck in battle. According to legend, his mother, the sea nymph Thetis, had dipped him in the river Styx as an infant, granting him near invulnerability. However, she had held him by his heel, leaving it as his only vulnerable spot. In a fateful encounter, Achilles was struck by an arrow guided by Apollo and shot by Paris, the prince of Troy. The arrow pierced his heel, his one mortal weakness. Achilles fell, his lifeblood seeping into the soil of Troy, and with his death the Greeks lost their mightiest warrior. The story of Achilles' vulnerability and tragic fall became one of the enduring legends of the Trojan War, symbolizing the fine line between heroism and mortality, and the inevitability of fate that even the greatest warriors cannot escape. The Trojan horse has since become a symbol of deception and military strategy, illustrating the idea that cunning can often succeed where brute force fails. The Greeks' final gambit was a triumph of strategy over strength, a victory achieved not by overwhelming Troy in battle, but by exploiting the Trojans' own pride. As Troy fell, the city was consumed by flames, and its people were either killed or enslaved. The fall of Troy marked the end of one of the most enduring and tragic sagas in human history. Thank you for watching Echoes of History. Subscribe for more explorations of ancient myths and legends.